When Volkswagen revived the Beetle in 1997, it sparked a global wave of retro design trends, but the story that matters most begins in the 2000s, when the modern Beetle had to prove itself not just as a nostalgic design piece but as a proper car to compete with compact hatchbacks and coupes. The first new Beetle was built on the Golf Mk4 platform, meaning a front-engine, front-wheel drive layout with water-cooled engines, a dramatic shift from the original's rear-mounted flat 4. By the early 2000s, the Beetle had matured into a wide range of versions, from humble city cars to genuinely sporty machines. Engines were diverse. Petrol units ranged from small 1.4 and 1.6-liter naturally aspirated motors to the lively 1.8T turbocharged four-cylinder, producing 150 horsepower. Later came the 2.0-liter engine and, in select markets, a 2.5-liter inline-5 with a distinctive warbling sound. Diesel fans had the robust 1.9 TDI, offering economy that made the Beetle a surprising long-distance cruiser. Gearboxes started with 5-speed manuals and 4-speed automatics, but the more modern 6-speed manual and Tiptronic auto made the car more versatile. Suspension-wise, the new Beetle kept a McPherson strut front and torsion beam rear setup, simple, compact, and cost-effective, though less dynamic than the multi-link arrangements of premium rivals. Volkswagen also dared to make the Beetle truly sporty. In 2001, the Turbo S appeared with a 1.8T tuned to 180 horsepower, paired with a 6-speed manual and unique styling details, including 17-inch wheels and a rear spoiler. But the crown jewel was the Beetle RSI, a wild homologation-style machine launched in 2001. It featured a 3.2-liter VR6 engine with 224 horsepower, mated to a 6-speed manual and 4-motion all-wheel drive. Only 250 units were ever built, each with carbon fiber bucket seats, flared arches, a central exhaust, and a body kit that made it look more like a concept car than a showroom product. The RSI could sprint to 100 km/h in under 7 seconds, and today it remains one of the rarest and most collectible modern Volkswagens. The first new Beetle received a facelift in 2005 with revised bumpers, new lights, and updated interiors, keeping it fresh until 2010. Despite charm, some issues plagued early models: window regulators, ignition coil failures on 1.8T engines, and fragile suspension bushings. Still, the car's individuality kept it alive, especially in the US, where it became a style statement. In 2011, Volkswagen introduced the second modern generation, known simply as the Beetle. Dawn was the bubble-like silhouette. Instead, the car was wider, lower, and more muscular, appealing to both male and female buyers. The Golf Mk6 underpinnings gave it sharper handling and better refinement. Engine choices now included the efficient 1.2 and 1.4 TSI turbos, the punchy 2.0 TSI with up to 210 horsepower in sporty trims, and the trusty 2.0 TDI diesels. The automatic DSG dual-clutch gearbox joined the range, offering lightning-fast shifts alongside traditional 6-speed manuals. This generation spawned several exciting special editions. The Beetle GSR revived the spirit of the 1970s, Gelb Schwarzer Renault, with yellow and black livery, limited to 3,500 units worldwide, and powered by the 210 horsepower 2.0 TSI. The Beetle Dune gave the car a rugged, crossover-inspired look with raised suspension and protective cladding. R-line packages added sporty styling, while turbocharged petrols delivered performance that surprised those who still saw the Beetle as a cute car. In 2016, the Beetle received its last facelift, updated bumpers, new LED lighting, and refined infotainment with smartphone integration. Safety tech like blind spot monitoring and park assist modernized it, though the platform was beginning to show its age. By 2019, Volkswagen announced the end of Beetle production, releasing a final edition with unique colors, upscale interiors, and commemorative badges. Technically, the modern Beetles had their quirks. The 1.8T engines were tunable but suffered from coil pack and sludge issues if oil changes were neglected. The 2.0 TSI units were strong performers, but early versions had timing chain tensioner weaknesses. The DSG gearbox offered thrilling shifts but demanded regular servicing, and when neglected, mechatronic failures were expensive. Despite these challenges, the Beetle earned a reputation as a car that blended personality with Volkswagen engineering. Solid underpinnings, efficient diesels, playful turbos, and enough special editions to keep enthusiasts intrigued. Against rivals, the modern Beetle always stood apart. Where the Mini focused on sharp go-kart handling, the Beetle was softer, more practical, and offered more space. Compared to a Fiat 500, it felt more substantial, less of a toy and more of a real car for everyday use. And unlike retro attempts from other brands, the Beetle sustained a 2-decade modern run, appealing both to nostalgic buyers and to younger drivers wanting something different from the usual hatchback. When production ended in Puebla, Mexico, in 2019, the Beetle closed its book not with a fizzle but with a celebration. Across its modern life, it had been everything from a stylish fashion statement to a sleeper performance car like the RSI. Though Volkswagen pivoted to SUVs and electric cars, the Beetle remains an icon, not just because of its past, but because even in the 2000s and 2010s, it dared to be different, technically intriguing, and unmistakably itself. When production ended in Puebla, Mexico, in 2019, the Beetle closed its book not with a fizzle but with a celebration. Across its modern life, it had been everything from a stylish fashion statement to a sleeper performance car like the RSI. Though Volkswagen pivoted to SUVs and electric cars, the Beetle remains an icon, not just because of its past, but because even in the 2000s and 2010s, it dared to be different, technically intriguing, and unmistakably itself. And beyond the core models, the modern Beetle was defined by a kaleidoscope of special editions. The Beetle Dune stood out with crossover-inspired styling, plastic cladding, a higher ride height, and unique colors like sandstorm yellow, a nod to the Baja Bug culture. The GSR Gelb Schwarzer Renner edition revived the legendary 1970s yellow and black racer theme, limited to 3,500 units, packing a 210 horsepower 2.0 TSI and a bold personality. The R-Line versions gave the Beetle a sharper, sportier edge with aggressive bumpers, larger wheels, and performance-oriented interiors. There were also lifestyle editions. The Beetle Denim, with fabric-inspired seat covers in blue accents, paid homage to the 1970s jeans bug. The Beetle Pink edition targeted style-conscious buyers with a bold fuchsia finish. Cabriolet fans saw the Beetle Final Edition in 2019, available in soft pastel colors, chrome accents, and exclusive interiors, celebrating the end of production with dignity. Other limited runs like the Beetle Exclusive, Beetle Fender Edition with an audio system co-developed with the legendary guitar brand, and Beetle Cabrio Carmon Edition highlighted the model's flexibility to adapt its character. All these versions made the Beetle more than just a single car. It was a canvas for design, culture, and performance. Some were rugged, some elegant, some playful, but all carried the unmistakable DNA of the world's most recognizable silhouette. Together, they ensured that even as the Beetle bowed out in 2019, it left behind not just a legacy of mass production, but also a rich tapestry of creativity that few cars in history can match.